hands will be so hot right now.
It's
feral.
You guys ever watch Seinfeld?
Yeah. He's coming. He's playing the scope.
But the show. You watch the show?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Trivial Pursuit episode? There's a question on there. A religious question of Middle Eastern sorts, and it's a typo on the answer sheet. And so when they answer the question, it was the Moors was the answer. And George is like, nope, I'm sorry, it's the Moops. And they're like, no, it's the Moors. He's like, nope, it's the Moops. It's right here.
That's
like I feel like
good.
So many of these like right now these penalties are like
that's
in
such
that
a good
lane
segue
too.
into this.
Like you're just standing there. You know, like, oh, is my head a little forward? You know, I'm standing tall.
You were looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah, or like, I
you
gotta
should
look
have been.
up.
You were looking left.
Yeah.
You can only look left.
Yeah, it's like I needed to see the box, so then I had to. Like that is a really good. That's a great one.
All right, well we're live. Welcome to the coach's office.
All right.
we've been live. So.
Oh, we have been live.
Yeah, we've been live.
Oh,
that was
shoot.
a good introduction.
I didn't even know.
I just want to make sure that we're good here. Sound should be good. All right, well, we're gonna start talking about this stuff. So if you want to comment, and we'll talk about your comments.
Yeah, that's great.
See what you got, but yeah,
other people too.
For all three people.
Is this microphone on?
There are 3 people watching. You are correct.
Sweet.
All right, so for all you three watching,
if I go
feel
watch,
free.
I'll make our number
This
4.
one should be on.
I think I'm one of them.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's
got
good.
a green light.
Should be good. Sounds good.
Last time it was too close to me. I felt like I was really loud.
Oh, great! Loud is good though.
No, but you weren't. I felt aggressively loud.
All right, that's cool.
Because I feel like I talk loud naturally.
No, I know some loud talkers. You are not one of them. You would never make that
I'm not
list.
as soft spoken as Ben. Let's say that.
Hey, he's got a good temperament too.
He does.
I don't know.
You want to just recap the workouts first, or how the weekend went?
Yeah, quarterfinals is over.
For our gym, for you.
For what? Where are you gonna start?
I mean, I'm gonna say you're the most important person in the room in regards to that. So we will go with maybe we'll piggyback off of how did you feel like the workouts went after you saw them and then did them?
They were fun. They were fun. The workouts were fun. So I will say I enjoyed the workouts. I wanted to do a couple of them twice, but I only got to redo number 1 twice.
Yeah.
It was better the second time, which I never do on workouts usually.
Yeah.
Usually I do
Usually
worse
ever.
the second time.
Yeah.
But I was excited to do them. I think I had to do my mindset's not like competing right now. My mindset is train hard, have fun, be a CrossFitter. I want to try to like get that, like hammer that point home. It's like I'm not training for the CrossFit games.
Yeah.
I just want to train my hardest. Just do what CrossFit does. Do what CrossFitters are supposed to do. You know what I mean? Which is, okay, I'm going to do the open. We talked about this last time. Like, if you don't do the open, are you a CrossFitter? No. I'm going to say,
wow, I guess I'm not a CrossFitter anymore.
Not this year.
So it's like, okay, you make it to the next level. You should probably try to compete at the next level.
Yeah.
Same thing with the one after that. So it's kind of where I am.
But
but it went well. The workouts were fun. I didn't think,
We had about half or slightly over half, I think, of the 91 that qualified to do quarters. I think we had about 50 people-ish do quarters.
It was fun.
It was fun.
The vibe was fun.
Yeah, the coaches did a really good job managing everything.
One thing I have to say to that is I don't care what HQ says. Doing quarterfinals in your gym is not easier than having a 5-week open. Especially when you have 90 people qualify.
No,
like,
and because we
did our best, but there was still some chaos in class. It wasn't perfect, and we had some people doing different ones at a different time, like or in the class, but not doing it as the class workout that day because they wanted to do them in a different order.
So we made them the class workout,
Yeah.
right, to try to simplify things as much as possible.
That helped me do them.
But it's also hard because, you have to have a judge, you have to have a video, even if supposedly you have to have a video.
I mean, I knew that I was going to be 1,000th or higher, and I did not record mine.
Right.
You
that
only
was
had the guideline was if you expected to be in the top 60 in your region, you had to have a video.
Yeah, and that's what I read, and I know that I'm, just a couple of weeks of hard training away from getting to that top 60, but I hadn't put those couple of weeks in, so I knew that I didn't need them.
Mm-hmm. Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. Yeah, right.
But when you're training those burpee box jump overs more than
here. Yeah. But you are right. It's not easy. I do think that the 5 weeks of the open, I don't know. I'm gonna say that it might be better, but I do think that this quarterfinal, it's like the online part of like the second phase of quarterfinals is really kind of showing it's not doing well. Like it's not. It's showing that it's not doing a great job so far.
Yeah, yeah, something's wrong. Especially when you look back and you say the 5 weeks of the Open that established who went to regionals was not broken.
Yeah, weirdly enough,
That
right?
test wasn't broken. So you can, and two things can be true at the same time. Regionals could have been awful for the company CrossFit, like as a whole, monetarily speaking, volunteer wise, putting it together, all of those things, right? Like everything they analyzed when they looked at that and said this is a loser. However, the Open 5 week test was not a loser. So
No,
now,
clearly it worked. I
right,
think they can just do a
Clear-
5 week test. I think they can do the 5 week Open again,
right,
bring it back,
yes,
and just go straight to regionals
correct,
or quarterfinals.
And the right people still would likely get there.
correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you think about it now, where there's only 2 events happening in the United States, right? And it used to be what, 6 or something,
Oh, yeah,
something
there were so
wild.
many.
And they had to do it. They had to fly all over the place and do all these things and rent out expensive, Georgia convention centers, for 50 G's for the weekend or whatever it is, and they're not making their money back and they're losing yada yada. There's only 2 of those now, so you solve that problem, and it's the people trying to make it to regionals now, definitely like that you're gonna be sweating a lot, you're gonna be
Right.
doing these workouts
Sure,
twice.
5 weeks
and
are gonna matter.
Right.
Five
It
weeks
makes
gonna
it. They're
really,
like,
really
oh,
matter.
it's so less now. The Open's so less stress, but the quarterfinals are just that much more stressful. You just
If you're serious about taking
right. You
it
just
to the
shifted
next-
the stress for the regional potential games athletes from the
Yeah.
Open to quarterfinals.
And I do think a lot of the times, like that's something that we talk about a lot, but it's not necessary that it's even needs talked about. I do think like they need to look at the biggest picture, like the people who are at CrossFit, who are writing the workouts and trying to go from Open regionals games or whatever. You're trying to get the fittest people to the games.
Yeah.
You're not trying to put on the best show.
Correct.
In the Open and the regionals, right? Or in the Open and the quarterfinals, whatever they're doing with this online version of it. The goal is not to put on a show. I saw a few comments about that. It's like that's not the purpose of the online portion. The online portion is for community participation, right? Because you want everybody that does CrossFit to partake in the action of doing this thing, right? And that's part of what the community revolves around every year. I do think by dividing it up, like you're saying, I do think it takes away from that. I think if you made it just one 5 week Open, it'd be better, and you get the right people to go on to the next level because you have one more test to do. 2, the test could get incrementally harder as you go. Everybody could know that, but the test might be also incrementally harder as the test goes on, like the workout of the week we're going to talk about. How it gets harder as you go, so you can show that you have the capacity or the skill to move on to that next level, so you can clearly differentiate yourself from the rest of the field. But everybody can still participate. There's ways about doing this that seem common sense. Like they seem like common sense. We're sitting here in a room, 3 of us, right, who've done CrossFit for a while, sitting here, and I feel like we could come up with better ways to do it. But why aren't they doing it?
So I listened to Greg talk to Savan, and
is that where the car analogy was?
Yes, so I can't wait to tell the story.
Analogy?
And shoot, I want to know the other guy's name. Souza.
Yeah, Matt Souza.
Matt, and they're talking, and Greg just throws out just a brilliant piece of gold nugget, and he's like, I realized when they were buying it from me, they didn't know what they were buying.
Yeah.
And I took my money and ran, and it's like, and they all start chopping up about they did not know what they were buying, like at all.
Yeah,
and.
Said I sold the Hell's Angels to
Yeah,
Costco.
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's funny.
That's
so good.
It was brilliant, and I was an hour into listening to them because I like to listen to things on double speed or whatever. An hour in, I send it to Ben, and he asks, like, 3 hours, like, what do you? I'm like, do I listen to it on double speed while I'm doing, other things? And it was still brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Like, they talk about so much when those two just sort of sit there and like everything.
It's just, and I've been, like I always map what we do like onto some like a spiritual understanding or like a church understanding or a biblical understanding or whatever it is. But there's it's just been something that the world has mapped itself by for so long that when you look at the patterns of this thing and then you look at that, are there are levels to this thing, and then you have founders and you have people that went before you. You have that, like in Orthodoxy they call them the church fathers, and it's like if you want, like you can spend we could spend 100 hours reading a specific passage together, right? There are people who have spent 10,000 hours reading that passage. Why don't you go and look at what they said? Well, just look at what they said 1st, right? And then I'm not telling you not to do it, not to care, not to participate in or whatever, but there are people that have done this for a very long time and put in way more hours than you have. When you hear them talk, you're like, oh, you all are the 10,000 hour people in the room. And clearly, there are no more 10,000 hour people in the room at HQ.
No. Yeah. If you think you know
It's
better,
as obvious as it
better,
gets.
you're not gonna ever be able to see that.
Yeah. It's
Or if your goals are something that doesn't align with that person that has the 10,000 hours of experience.
right.
If your goals are, so that's what, coming back to that, I think that's what they're missing. I don't think their goals align with what CrossFit's goals were.
Yeah.
And I don't think they even recognize it. Clearly,
They
okay,
don't.
or at this point, clearly they don't recognize
Correct.
it, right?
Yeah.
And then two, they probably just think that they know what they have to do. They think that they know what they have to do,
Correct.
but they don't know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part.
And that's okay. And I used to attribute it to malice and something else, and now it's just like, no, I can attribute this to ignorance.
Yeah, it's easier to do
like
that.
very, very, very easy to say. You just don't know, and I don't have to be mad at you. And that's a little bit of what I'm going to bring up later. But you guys,
I think they
you
could
guys
make.
talk a little
I
bit.
think they could do the open and make it $100. They really wanted to be about money.
Yeah, if you need to raise a little extra money, all you
5
need,
weeks, $100.
like legitimately, all you need to do is explain it well.
Yeah.
Like, I have to fundraise every dollar that I make to provide food for my family working for a nonprofit ministry. When I ask people to donate or to do what it is, my expectation is that the people that are giving money to me to support this thing know exactly what it's going to, or know what it's going to accomplish, and know what it's about, and know what it's for, and so you have this transparency interaction between the two. And if you want to put on this really great event that we believe is necessary to happen, and it's awesome, we call it the CrossFit Games, and it is crowning the fittest on earth, and we're actually going to put a crown on that person and tell the rest of the world to look at that person.
Mm-hmm.
Just explain why it costs $25 extra this year.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the cost of things.
I would pay more to do the open if I got a 5-week open, because in reality, we're paying more for the open right now anyway, because you took 2 weeks away and you kept the price the same. So you're getting less for the same amount.
Inflation.
But
hidden.
Yeah. But money aside, all the other reasons that have been presented from like Boz and those people when they talk about, hey, we saw a lot of attrition, so we didn't really feel the need for 4 or 5 weeks in the open because people weren't doing it anyway. It wasn't because they got bored with the open. It was because those more challenging workouts came along, and then they're like, ooh, I can't do that. You even saw that in just the 3rd week. The amount of people that did week 1, week 2 versus week 3 was a huge difference.
I didn't know that.
And then if you looked at quarterfinals and you look at the leaderboard and you look at the back end of the leaderboard, the amount of people that did workout 1 and workout 2 and didn't submit anything for workout 3 or 4 or even just 3 predominantly, because everybody can play with the first barbell, but there were so many people that could not do 1 kipping handstand push-up. Wow. So they entered a 0 or didn't enter anything. They're like, oh, I'm done. So you can even count the attrition that you would have got in the open as happening in quarterfinals anyway. So
that's a great point.
Let people pay, and if they don't want to do it, they don't do it. Who cares? You already got your 20, 30, 40, whatever dollars.
Right.
And if they don't want to finish the test, they don't have to finish the test. That's on them.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could go a lot of different routes with it, but I do think making a statement like, if you do CrossFit, you participate in the open type thing, and making it a thing would get people to do the open 5-week open, pay $25 to $50 for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that'd be a problem at all. I think it'd be more fun. I think you'd have more participation. You can make the workouts harder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's little tiny tweaks that you could make to make the workouts more accessible. Same last workout, 10 minutes. I don't know, make it 12, take out the rest times, go up by 10 pounds rather than go jump 30 pounds or whatever they did for the guys. Go 135, 155, 175, 195, 205. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah.
And make it 12 minutes, take out the rest. Simplifies everything. Simplifies the judging. You don't have to time and work, do the rest periods, time the rest periods. Stop doing this back facing the barbell thing. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Make it simple for people. Make it easy for people. I'm trying to give them recommendations here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Make it easier for people. Make it easier for the judges.
Make it easier for yourself, CrossFit. Like you're
Yeah.
just bringing more on. You're putting more on your plate in the back end by adding all these little extra things to
Yep.
the standards.
Make everybody, if you're in the top 2 to 500, submit a video and have the community judge the videos. If there's a
True.
ton of red flags on one video, review the video. Don't judge the video, just review it. You have judges here at your gyms that take your judges course and pay $10 for it. It's worthless. All right, let's just be real.
It was this year,
there's-
especially. I didn't even realize
if they're going to judge, the workouts like they've been judging them,
Yeah.
then what point is it for me to make sure I have a judge that has taken the $10 course?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that the course isn't valuable. Like, it's important to see what a
Correct.
good rep is and a bad rep is. Everybody has to know what a good rep is and a bad rep is.
Yeah.
But if they're going to do what they're doing now, then what's the point? Why not just submit a video? Have everybody submit a video, and then they can look at it, or the community can look at it. If they were smart, the community would look at it.
Dude,
Less work for them.
decentralize that so fast,
Yes.
and you'll save yourself so much trouble and win-win.
Mhm.
It's so easy.
So I'm all for all of the, I'm all for trying to make videos as try to make judging as good as possible. Just do it consistently. Do it consistently.
Yeah.
Don't make it look like. Don't make me put a conspiracy theory hat on and make it look like you're going after certain people, or make it look like it's inconsistent, or like, oh, I'm only going to judge the top 30 out of 40, and then I'm going to bump this person to 600 and then not review any of the videos from 1 to 600. You have to do that. It's just common sense.
I'll slide tinfoil hat on real quick. Do I believe that HQ is watching every video? No, I don't. I don't believe you.
Mm-mm.
And now at that point, insert whatever conspiracy that is now just founded on sheer logic. You're not watching all of them. How do you justify dealing out what you're dealing at this point?
Mhm.
Just reconcile the two. You can't. Insert problem. Now you have a huge storm
Mhm.
coming to your doorstep, and it's what are you gonna do?
We were talking about this a little bit before you
Right.
got
What are you
here.
gonna do?
too,
They're
is-
making their own bed.
What are you
They're gonna have to lie in
dog?
it. I mean,
Is how large of penalties they're handing out right now. Like we're talking about that. Like, does it match that person's actual fitness and the violation? You know, going from like taking away 40 to 50 reps on this workout, and then the amount of people, like you said, 600 or 800 that it puts ahead of you of everyday CrossFit Joe Schmo, who likely wasn't also totally unlocking his knees and really standing up with both legs at the top of his step ups, are now affecting that one person's score.
which is what we said 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago when the workouts came out, or whatever it was. Last week. Was it last week?
I mean, it's 2 weeks
Man,
ago.
it felt like
You
an
can say
eternity.
2 weeks ago.
Our last podcast, we talked about this, and we
Yeah.
said that these workouts probably weren't the best to judge who's the top 40, and for this reason, if you separate between 5 on the last workout, 5 reps made the difference between qualifying and not qualifying.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you were 5 reps off, you're
100%.
out.
Mhm.
5 reps, 5.
Yeah.
Okay. First workout's probably 10 to 20.
Third
Right.
workout. If you reviewed the third
Just
workout,
the first and the fourth, though. I'm
right.
saying that those are 2 workouts that had a small number of reps that had a huge difference.
Mhm.
And
Right.
what's the gap? Well, it could be judging, could be timing, could be rollover calories, which was another dumb rule. Right?
Bro, what the? Nobody told me that was a thing.
It's
Don't
not
worry,
a
I
thing.
counted your calories.
You don't get the
correctly.
rollover calories.
Oh,
They wanted you to show the monitor when you were at the minute mark during your workout, like you have a team of people that are.
man, I'm tripping. I thought I heard yesterday that you did.
Well,
get
now I
rolled
gotta
In
go
the
back.
open,
And,
in
now
the
we gotta go back and
open.
edit JB's score.
In the open,
You're
you
that
can let it
CrossFit
roll,
edit
or-
JB's
yeah.
score.
That's right. I need
No,
more.
no. I gave him the
I'm
right
kidding, I'm
counts.
kidding.
All right.
I gave him no
Yeah,
rollover.
I'm
He
kidding.
had me that day.
Damn it.
He got
Yeah.
hosed on his step ups too.
Those damn step ups, dude. They crushed me. I got like 160 some reps on this where I get smashed in this workout. I'm looking at all these scores, right? And I did like a personal vanity experiment where I just like looked at who I was around on the leaderboard in comparison from the first 2 workouts and the second 2 workouts. I'm like, dude, I don't think the dudes beat me by thousands of spots in the first two workouts and could barely complete reps on the second two workouts.
Mhm.
Just smashed me. I'm like, this is such. Either I should be ashamed of my level of like put my head down and go into the
No.
ground work capacity, or something was off.
Mm. Yeah. Hiller said 40 to 50 reps is insane.
Yeah.
He's kinda
So
like,
Dude,
what I
it's
was going to say is
nuts.
the opposite end, though, is if you were to come down on people and have chosen workout 3, for example, to scrutinize, there would be less movement in the top 40 because those people were so much higher than the masses on that workout that, you know, let's say their lockouts were sketchy on their muscle ups and they gave them a time penalty of 2 seconds of muscle up or something like that for not quite hitting that lockout.
Yeah.
They're like them changing 30 seconds or a minute on that workout would not have kicked them out of that top, like the
No.
scores on.
Right. The difference
1
between 8
or
and 9 minutes
4.
on that workout is not that big of a deal.
Right.
Position-wise.
Even lower. There were people in semifinals
I
and
mean, there's
qualifying that
30
didn't
seconds.
finish that
30
workout.
seconds between. I think Saxon and Spencer went 1 and 2 on the third workout, and
in our region.
and one in our region, and one went 6:59 or 7 minutes, and the other went 7:30, 7:32, something like that.
Mhm.
1, 2, 30 seconds.
Yeah, they're too good at that workout. There's
That's-
nobody that fills the gap.
That's
No.
wild. Nobody's
No.
filling that gap, and then
Yeah.
that gap between 7:30 and you was
But that
50 people. Too.
Right. So why is CrossFit not trying to fill that gap?
Yeah.
And why do they try to fill the
Yeah,
gap
you
with
want-
the
yeah.
50 burpees and the 50 wall balls?
Yeah.
I've thought this for a while because I'm always good at the workout 3
Yeah, and
example
4, right?
and 4, right? But not as good on the burpees. And they have 150 burpees. And every time they do it, I am lower in the pack on those. But then I'll smash those same people in something like workout 3, but I
Right.
won't gain the spots back because there's not that many people that are
It's
that
a
good.
hard. Yeah, it's a weird.
So why wouldn't
weight.
CrossFit try to work on
focus more
on getting people to have the capacity, not only the capacity, but the capacity with the skills
Yeah.
involved. You know, like you want to see that in
that's
your
been
your
my
levels of
driver.
athletes
That's
for
been
its
my
regions.
driver and what I like to work on in here,
Yeah.
like acquiring skills and then being able to do them when I'm tired. And like something I learned in workout 3 was, wow, my
Mhm.
grip strength's really bad.
Mhm.
And I never do muscle ups with a forearm pump or fatigue.
Yeah.
Like it's always like a breathing
Mhm.
type of thing.
Yeah.
And then doing them under that fatigue. But that kind of like, I don't know. Sam
Yeah,
pointed out, and this was interesting too. Another way to sort of think about it is 6 movements accounted for 75% of your moving on qualification, like 6 movements in CrossFit across 3 tests.
Yeah.
And then you had 4 or 5 that accounted for 25% in that one workout. Like you said, like spread them
It needs to be broad. It says
out.
broad
Yeah.
Right.
fitness. The word they use is broad, right? I
Yeah.
think this was just very much more narrow than they have done in years past.
Right, or like test, or it's broad
Comparatively.
Overall, is it broad? But we're testing each one by themselves.
Here's a grenade for the scenario. I thoroughly enjoyed what Savon did for the community for quarterfinals. You know, Taylor versus the World.
yeah.
That whole group, those got Hiller, all those guys, everybody that put that on.
Sure,
It was
cool to watch.
dope.
Yeah.
It was so dope.
Mhm.
However, that might be really, really delicious icing on top of brownies that have poop in them.
Yeah, I see
Please
what you're
explain.
saying. Meaning, it's cool to watch. It's fun. It brought something to quarterfinals that we wouldn't have because it's like you said, it's not about putting on a show. It's virtual. But here they are trying to give people some sort of show while we all are waiting for the scores to just populate on our athletes. You know, we're just sitting here in limbo land waiting for the first 2 to appear to see how people are going to do. Everybody's hiding their scores within them. Maybe if you know somebody, you're like, hey, what did these people get? You can kind of gauge. But here you had 4 guys willing to just put their stuff out early. And so you had an idea of what's a games caliber score time on these workouts.
If they didn't do that this weekend, you would have taken your brownie and ate it and be like, there's some poop in this. And we were saying there was poop in the brownies before it even happened. You've never heard this before?
I've heard this.
All right, so this is like one of my favorite things that one of my homies said like 10
Yeah.
years ago. He was like, if I told you there was a spoon, just a teaspoon of poop in a batch of brownie batter, and I baked the brownies, would you still eat the brownies? Just a teaspoon. It's so little. You would say, no, I'm not eating those brownies, right? And it's like just a little bit degrade the whole pan of brownies.
Mhm.
But that whole pan of brownies, you don't find out about that teaspoon, and then somebody slather some icing on top of it. You have such a hard time of being able to figure out that there's a little something off, and these brownies is just caked with this thing. So it was
Yeah.
really cool to watch, but it hid something.
Well, we talked
in
about
the
this
thing that it
being
was
really
hiding.
cool to watch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like if you lined everybody in the games up and had them do 100 burpees for time, it'd be fun to watch. You know, like
100%.
but
Races are
Dave-
fun to watch.
Man, but Dave has said this forever that it's not about the workout; it's about the athletes that make the workout fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's not the workout. The workout, just the simpler the better, right? But the workout is fun to watch because the athletes are doing it.
Yeah, start, go, A to B. I want to watch it.
Yeah, the competition.
Finish,
You want to
whatever
see
it
the
is.
competition.
But we watch people eat competitively. We want
Yeah.
to watch someone win something.
Yeah.
It's just like it's as obvious as it gets.
Yeah.
So
is that what everybody's trying to do now? Is just find the little bit of poop that's in the brownies? Is that what we're?
So-
is
I
that
don't
what
know.
we're
but we
doing?
Everybody's
don't wanna
still
be-
talking positively about the
No,
whole
and-
thing, and I'm like,
well, I have. I mean,
I don't want to be. Yeah. I mean,
do you think it's after this red wedding's happening of score deductions and penalties?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to remain there? I know. I don't know.
mm.
I've tried to stay away from consuming as that much content around this, but
Yeah, Hiller said congrats on Mr. Smith's placing.
Mm.
We'll see, Hiller, if I'm still there. If I'm still there in 24 hours, we'll
Yeah.
see.
Those step ups were legit. There was no soft knees. There's
No.
no soft knees in that workout.
Someone said, yeah, and I get the points that everybody's making. Like all they had to do was dumbbell box step overs, and none
Yeah.
of this would happen. And
Yeah,
what did
go
we
over.
say? What have we said since the beginning? Make
Yeah.
the movements as clear as possible, as simple on the judges
Yeah.
as possible.
Mhm.
That's why they do it in the games. That's why they move heavy objects A to B in the games.
Mhm.
There's no judging involved. You
Yeah.
move the object A to B. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Push a sled.
And I wonder
That's
too
why they
if
do
that,
that
if
stuff.
that crossover that was supposed to be there that wasn't, if that crossover was there instead of the step ups, would we even
Oh,
be
man.
having this discussion either? Because like there wouldn't be as many reps wrong when people doing the crossover, you know?
Correct.
So I mean if that was in place of step ups, you know, that was definitely a
How about two
Yeah.
workouts that had a major grip component? Punished twice for same movement. What two workouts had a major?
well, I think they're
grip
talking
component?
about one, the gymnastics one,
yeah.
and then two hanging on to the
The
dumbbells.
dumbbell
like-
step ups had a grip component for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
but
the-
that
that first one was
gymnastics
hard.
one
I
wasn't
couldn't
too
hold on
bad.
to the dumbbells very
The
well.
gymnastics one was easy.
Yeah, it wasn't.
for him.
I did well on that. I was prepared for it, so I felt good about it.
I mean, actually, you know, had I done the open, had I done quarterfinals, that would have been my best workout score.
Yeah.
Finish amongst the group,
Yeah,
amongst the masses, and my
because
age
we were
group.
always practicing skills and working on movements that are more difficult than your traditional CrossFit. We do CrossFit.com, old school CrossFit.com programming.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I was thinking
the
about
new
that
stuff.
there's an old regionals workout that is just like haunts my memory. It was front squats. It was really heavy front squats,
Bro,
burpee
burpees
over the
and
bar,
handstand
and
push-ups.
handstand push-ups.
Yes.
Dude, it haunts me.
Every time I almost program it, I don't, and it scares me every time.
Yes,
I'll do it
dude.
one time a year.
Yeah.
One time a year. It's
It's-
hard.
That
Brutal.
it's something like that was missing, where I'm like, none of these, like even saying the burpee workout like exists in that space is just not true. Like, yeah, we watched Taylor fully send it into muscle failure oblivion, right? And that was fun and entertaining, whatever it is. But even that, it doesn't actually we did watch that in this workout. Easy Muhammad just couldn't do handstand push-ups anymore. Like he was already struggling with them, right? It was already a hard thing for him. But this workout, like it sent you into a place you did not want to be, and to do well on it, it was miserable. I know. Point being, where is that?
Yeah, because I just watched. I think I was telling you about it too. Seth Page on the jump ship training. He has a little podcast where he goes in the old CrossFit media and usually has like
cool.
one guest, and they're just watching old clips. And a lot of times it'll be
Like it.
some CrossFit guests like that were in it, and they'll watch old clips of themselves together. Like most recently, had like Jordan Cook and Travis Williams on there, and so they were like reliving their old regional days and games days together.
Cool.
But there was one that he had on there that was, I think it might have, I guess it was just him, but it was like the most epic CrossFit fails. At least I think it was his podcast. I watched too many now, so they're all blurring together.
Yeah.
But it was great, and it's not that I'm cheering for people to do bad necessarily, but watching people get to that point where they can't finish their legless rope climb at the games and they're just falling, or like Khalifa melting down at Amanda, like just
dude.
like those are moments.
Dude,
you
watching
know?
them
and
laugh
people
at that
pushing,
was so
People
funny.
that are in first place getting knocked down to
yeah,
28th place on the leaderboard
Right.
because of CrossFit taking away their step ups.
Dude.
Isn't that the same thing?
I don't-
People
it's
want to
not the
no
same
people.
thing in the
Why do you
sense
think
of-
people are all talking about it right now?
True. I mean,
It's
the
because
drama.
they
It
love
adds
the drama.
It's- right, we do love the drama, but I would
Why do you-
rather
yes,
see the
yeah.
drama occur because people are reaching their physical limit, not because they just are moving in a way that allows them to get a few more reps, or they're skirting the
Dude,
line, or they just
jobber.
didn't quite hit the definition of the standard as it applies to that movement this year.
Yeah.
You know, like they didn't lift their head up. Like that's silly. I hope that most people did not
Yeah,
get a penalty for
I
that.
mean, you have to look at the bigger picture. You have to try to look at the bigger picture. I think that you have to take the 1,000-foot view,
Yeah.
10,000-foot view, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Where you
As-
find
as
where have you
CrossFit.
been finding yourself
What do you mean?
when you're at 10,000 feet? What are you observing? Everything, sort of the dust.
No, this is
settling
hard.
right
This is the hard. This is the hard argument. Okay, so Hiller is someone who's been arguing for years about
now.
standards.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
actually enacting penalties on the standard, not falling back on the excuse of, which again, that's counter to this whole kind of feeling right now with the step ups, but the capacity's there. They are one
Yep,
of the 40.
that's what I wanna get
they
to.
are one of the 40 fittest. These weren't the best reps. Should they all have been counted? But how much of a penalty can we enact after the fact when we could have at the moment judge corrected them in a movement and they fixed that?
Yeah, I think we're just in a big cycle, super cycle right now. I think you have Hiller. Why does he come about? He comes about because there's exactly that going on, and it's blatantly obvious that they're not hitting movement standards.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have
Needs to be
someone
said.
like Hiller that it needs to be said, but then you're also going to have that, and you're going to take it to the extreme on the other side, and now you have what we have now. Right? We've kind of swung back the other direction where
So
we're
let's say-
penalizing people for which direction their head is looking.
Mm-hmm.
I've been penalized. I got penalized
That
a year or two ago,
GHG,
whatever
that
it
was
was,
a ridiculous penalty.
simply
coming out,
for
too.
where my head was.
Yeah.
Nothing was changed, only where my head was. They gave me like a 1.5-minute penalty, still made it, moved on to the next one. But
because again, that workout was so
ridiculous.
skilled that same as number 3.
Yeah.
You were so high
Because
that
there
you
was a
could
way
take
to
hit.
separate yourself
Right.
from the field because the workouts were higher skill, right? So it was clear who should be moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Make the workouts clear who should be moving on, especially if you're going to have
That's
just 4. Especially if
good
you're going to have
point.
just
That's
4.
Yeah.
Make one your grunt work capacity, 150 burpees for time,
No,
whatever.
Yeah, and
The other 3 have to really separate them. The
Yeah.
more you do like single modality stuff, the more you have to separate in the other ones.
Yeah.
To even it out. I don't know.
totally.
Or the more you have to. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I watched obviously watched Hiller's video and read the comments
Mhm.
and I found myself in I just found myself thinking, you brought this on yourself, but not in a bad way. Like
Oh,
you,
the most recent one.
To
yeah,
hit for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah, no, for sure. It just is what it is.
And
It's
and this is what
unavoidable.
I mean. And Batman's it's actually interesting because the Batman analogy is the best. The second Batman is the best, where he has to sacrifice himself. This is like the end of his, like, if you really want me to go full biblical mapping, yeah, you just got crucified and it's time to be resurrected in theory, because you had to be this person. You did it for 2 years. You did it for 2 years. Crucified.
It's like when you
just got to the
you
point.
start, you know the end.
Yes, you know
Yeah.
your end, and your end is you attempted to and did sort of reawaken the integrity
Bring
that need to
attention
go,
back.
bringing attention onto this thing, right? And what happens to the people that bring attention to the thing? They always you get crucified, right? And it happened a really, really hard way for
Because you can't be perfect.
because you can't be perfect.
It's not possible to have a
inevitable.
perfect rep. You can't do a workout and
Yes.
have every rep be perfect. If I slow it down
Yes.
to half speed and watch every one, I could find something
Right.
wrong.
Right.
That's the other side.
And then so I found myself being like, yeah, it was obvious you couldn't be perfect, and now, and this is what I've been thinking about this for a couple of days. It's hilarious that this happened, or not hilarious. Sorry, dog.
No,
this
it's just
happened.
the way that
it sucks that this happened.
Yeah, it's the way that
And,
it goes.
I really do feel for that. But I was thinking recently, there's a very interesting juxtaposition, Old Testament and New Testament in the Bible, where You have a very rigid law structure that governs and is the body in which everybody has to participate in order to be. Insert the birth of Christ. The new narrative is by grace. We'll just say by grace, right? So
By
let's think
knowing
about-
by knowing the true purpose of the law in the
Yes.
first place.
you know the true purpose of the law.
Yep.
Let me-
And it's a callback to the law in the beginning.
So I'll give you an example of the gym where it's like, the third workout, I'm doing my handstand push-ups, and Georgie goes, your thumb floated away from the line, put your thumb back on the line, right? That's grace. The standard was met. Like if my hand is on the line and I'm just in the heat of the moment and my thumb slips off of it at that moment, in the place that I'm at, I don't need Georgie to stick to the 100% law of the land at that point. And she could have, and it is, and she could have, right? If my thumb slipped off at one point and she just lets it rot, right? Because it's the standard. I should know the standard. It is what it is. And
Yeah.
But she's like, hey, get thumb, boom. And it was like an inch. I just put the thumb back, boom, back in. Grace abounds. But it goes further than that. Because when you come in and you do test retest, right? Like we stand on it all the time. Test retest only exists if you're governed by grace and not by the law. Like if you have grace and mercy on your side, you're allowed to not do your best, right?
A perfect rep or something.
You don't have to be perfect. That's what I'm getting at. Grace allows you to not be perfect, and therefore show up to do your very best again, to not be perfect, to show up again, because that's the aim, right?
Right. You have the bigger picture. You're looking at the broader view. Your intentions are all aligned.
Your intentions
This is where I think the issue is that CrossFit's intentions aren't the same as the intentions that they were in the past, and it's just not. They're not meshing together anymore.
They can't see it.
They can't see it.
Yeah, it's hidden from them, and that's okay because these truths are hidden from people. This
is why they've said things like they demonstrate the work capacity to do these movements. There's just slight errors like that.
So
and then you're gonna get this swing from one side, Hiller, to the other side. Now, the Batman's being driven out of town.
You are unable to.
You're unable to do it yourself. Yeah. We expected perfection, and the people crucify you,
right? Because
you look for perfection in other people,
right? And even him recognize, like him seeing,
he sees it now. He sees it's like clear.
Yeah, oh man, I did place a moment of perfection on myself, but it wasn't what he was doing anyways. It wasn't. So it sucks that it happened.
But there's a difference too, like you're talking about intentionality of CrossFit, but also within the individuals that are competing, right? You didn't go into that going, I'm gonna try to get away with not having my thumb on this line, not having my hands on this line.
Yeah, totally.
Or, you don't go into this workout saying, I'm gonna bounce one of my heads of my deadlift first for the other one. Like maybe someone did, maybe you don't. But how do you go about determining, is that person intentionally trying to cheat? Or is this just a result of moving as fast as they do with their fitness level? Right? Like, and how do you differentiate between,
you were talking about that
those
the
two?
other day.
Like the capacity one for is the argument there, and that happens in like some things I've seen. I'm like, that is very, very different than, to me. I'm like, I've not seen anybody do that. To me, that looks intentional. But how do you determine that? And with video review on something like a step up, or even something like where there's just a really quick lockout, if you're watching this at quarter speed and slowing everything down to a pace that you physically could not see with the naked eye judging live, then we're not doing it right. We're not trying to get the fittest there at that point. We're just now we're just trying to dole out as many penalties as we can. And it's like we don't have video review in CrossFit. So, if you can't watch a video and if it's so close to the naked eye, then it's,
you got to go with the judge that paid the $10 judging course that you think should have the right to judge that person.
Unless it's a clear, easily, which I have seen some of that too. So I'm not saying that none of these penalties are unwarranted.
No, of course not.
Because I've seen some videos and I've seen some movements of people that I'm like, I can see at regular pace in the back of this video that those knees are soft, those hips aren't open. So that's on that's on the athlete.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
judge and them. But
Yeah.
for any number of these people, like, you know, even we're talking about like Pat Bellner, like he moves well too until he doesn't, but until he goes hard and
quick.
starts.
Yeah.
but typically, you know, when he fails those reps at the end, they're fun to watch. But typically, his movement quality is good. Like,
Yeah.
his repetitions are
Yeah.
good. He's not trying to drop bars before he's extended. He's
Nope.
not trying to switch legs before he locks out.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
even in the step up, it seems silly to me that they're like 2 legs locked out, because it's almost harder. The movement is harder if you're strong enough to
Yeah.
use your entire stepping leg, stand up, open that knee and that hip, and then just bring the other leg to tap. And then switch. That's almost harder. Like, people that are weaker are getting that foot on the box quickly and then standing up with both legs because they're weaker.
Right.
So now you're just kind of punishing the fitter people here at the end of their range of motion. If their stepping leg is locked out and they're reaching the botch and touching with their opposite, I normally be like, that's a good rep. But
yeah, like if
the
I do a
rule
95-pound
is 2.
thruster, sometimes my hips don't lock out at the top
Yeah.
because the barbell's so light. You just kind of toss it overhead real quick.
Mm-hmm. And
Especially
you're
if
trying, and you're
competing.
ready to like pull it back down too.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even just
Yeah.
pressing overhead, but you're pulling back down to you.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I think that what you're saying about it going through that process, it's like the new thing that will come from it, I think, has to be something. If you're attentive to this flow and the cycle of
Yeah.
things, and you're attentive to the things that are being said on the online space, something good will come from it.
Oh,
It
we're about
has
to hit. We're about to hit something. So we're about to hit a cake that was baked by the best baker in all of the land. It's like, it's on its way.
Mhm.
It's inevitable. It's in the cycle, and it's at the end of this one, and we haven't hit it yet. And I can't wait.
Well,
I'm
I'm
so
really
excited.
Like, I really hope that's the case, because I feel like it could go either way. Like, we can either
for sure
turn for the better, or we're going to turn people away from this as a sport.
And how do you know which direction you go? It depends on the leadership and which way the leadership wants to lead. It really depends on what the leadership wants to grab onto. Like, if they see all of this stuff and they're hearing all these things.
I mean, if they never get out of the trunk of the car, it's not going to get on the right road.
Oh man, that was such a good analogy. Yeah.
Did you get that far?
Yeah. It was so good. Man, I went and bought a car and got in the trunk and wondered why I wasn't going how I wanted it to go. Why the car drove so bad.
Yeah, Glassman said his selling CrossFit was like selling someone a car. You give them the keys, they give you a check. They take the keys, pop the trunk, hop inside, shut the door on themselves, and start banging why doesn't the car work?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was good, but
I mean,
just listen to it. Just hear what is being said. Like, yeah, you can be insulted by it, or you can learn from it, or you can recognize that there's something there that you might be missing. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there's part of it where it's like everybody competed. There's gonna be a games this year.
Yeah,
Right.
Like, it's gonna happen.
Mhm.
You know, the show will go on, right? As Lupe Fiasco says. What about next year's show? Like, hey.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
like,
what I'm talking about next year. I'm not even talking.
Right.
Sorry, I'm not talking about right now.
I know.
I'm talking about next year.
But
yeah, like there's
for the
opportunity.
listener,
there's always opportunity.
Yeah, for the
change.
listener that may be just jumping 6 weeks ahead, maybe the listeners jumping 12 weeks ahead. It's like a lot of this sort of diagnosing is hey, let's grace the bounds. You don't have to be you do not have to be perfect. Hey, let's try and get this right next year.
Yeah.
And because we've
doable.
seen it. Like, it's not like this is an unproven concept.
No, we're sitting here talking about solutions.
Right.
They can take them for free.
You're getting them for free.
Yes, we're trying to help. Like, I'm not trying to be malicious. I don't want to do that. That's not my goal.
Totally.
No, we're only here because we love this thing.
Yeah, I want to share these ideas.
We want it to survive this transition period and then continue to grow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come to the gym. Our gym is the tree. You can see the fruit from it.
Yep.
I mean, you know exactly what you're getting. It's here as an example. We do it every day.
Yeah. Man, I had such a fun experience on the day that we had to run the 5K.
We programmed a 5K. I programmed 5K on Tuesday, and it just so also happened to be the CrossFit.com workout of the day. That's funny.
I laughed so hard.
Yeah, I saw it come up at 8. I got the email. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How is that possible? How is that?
But anyways, the weekend was hard for me. Like, I did 4 workouts. I don't work out on the weekend. you know, like it was hard. I was hurting on Monday, and I had to do the clean jerk workout on Monday, and then the runs on Tuesday. And I'm driving to the gym, and I was just thinking, zero things and 0% of me wants to do this. I don't like running. I'm very self-aware that I don't actually know how to run. I can run. Obviously, I ran a 20, 23, 40, 23, 24 minutes. 24 minutes. I ran 24.
Your best gym
24 and a
goal.
half. Yeah.
And that was my best, 5K ever. But I get to the gym, and it hits me like subconscious, like Holy Spirit, like just in my soul. It goes. It comes back to the, like, if you're a CrossFitter, you do CrossFit. And it's like, if you're a member of CrossFit Krypton, you run this 5K, you participate, you do this. And at that point, I went, oh yeah, like this is the programmer is my pastor, my spiritual father, whatever it is, right? The one that has authority, that I'm letting have authority over me to tell me what to do for the hour I volunteer to come into this space, because I trust this person's judgment on for something for me today, right? Trust you to give me something for myself today that will benefit me and I can take with me, right? So I ran the 5K, and I was gassed up to do it. I was, at the second it hit me, I was like, dude, I'm crushing this thing. I'm going for it. I'm running it. I'm running hard. No excuses, whatever it is. And I had a blast doing it. I paid a price on Wednesday though. Dude, I sucked at yesterday's workout, which we're gonna talk about.
Ooh, that was rough.
The workout of the week.
That was
Dude,
rough.
it
Let's talk about it.
killed me. And I think it was from the fact that I ran a 5K.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wish that you hadn't posted. I wish you had pulled one of your not posting the workout the night before
For that one.
for the 5K.
Oh, for the 5K, yeah.
Because it was light day. It was a light day.
It's okay. They're gonna get plenty of running in the next month and a half.
And,
Don't worry. We do a movement of the month every month, and I wanted to test this because it's gonna be 5K. We're gonna test and retest probably in a month or month and a half.
Yeah.
And so we'll run a lot. The weather's nice now, so we'll get outside and we'll start running a bit more. So that's our movement of the month, just for anybody that was curious.
Yeah.
But yes. I know part of me wanted to do that, but
I remember that there was a one time we did like 3 mile repeats and you didn't put it up there. It's like, oh, I forgot to put the workout in. It's like, no, we didn't.
No, we
did
didn't. You know it's coming.
No, we didn't.
I like to switch it up when people start cherry picking. I'll do that. But I haven't had to do it in a long time. Because people come every day. I have to tell people not to come. I have to be like, hey, you should rest today. How many times have you been here?
7.
Oh, I came in 5 times this week, and it's Thursday. I'm like, what? Yeah, you should definitely rest.
Yeah, there are people like that. I tell them that too, but sometimes you can't stop them.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's addicting. This place is, this thing, is so easy to love and so easy to want to participate in as much as you possibly can.
But just like you should play around with movements, play around with the work to rest ratios and see how you feel. See how
You got to, especially if you want to keep that little thing called intensity high, or you're just moving. You're just moving, which is fine. But for some days, that's fine.
These Koreans trolled Fraser the other day.
Koreans?
Yeah, these like
weightlifters.
Okay.
These weightlifters, and I sent the video to Ben, and it was interesting because we've been talking about intensity a lot, and that's like he's talking. It's like a little clip of him talking for like 10 seconds, and he says,
it was all about technique.
Yeah, it was technique, and then it flashes to them. They're like, we'll give him his respect for what he's accomplished. Incredible, and it's like, but we think it's intensity. And I sent it to Ben, and I've been thinking about it a lot. And just that little experiment, seeing one, seeing the next, just juxtapose those two, seeing what you think about, their assertion and going with it. And it's like, yeah, I'm with it. Like, and, obviously I think technique matters forever, but this intensity thing is way, way, way more valuable. I don't know how to weight it.
It's the spirit of CrossFit.
Yeah, it is the spirit. But which is this workout that you wrote for yesterday was miserable. I cannot believe somebody finished it.
It would have been so good, I said, as an open or even a quarterfinals test.
Yeah,
All right, the workout was it was an interval workout, death by workout, but it was a 3-minute window each time rather than a minute usually in your death by. So it was death by reps. Every 3 minutes, you do a 20-calorie row for 20 or 16, and then 10 deadlifts at 225, 155, and then 3 toes to bar. And then round 2, you would do 6 toes to bar. Round 3, you would do 9 toes to bar. So the reps went up by 3, classic number. and it just went up until you couldn't do any more in that 3-minute window. So every time you're rowing and deadlifting the same, and then the toes apart go up. So you're trying to manage your pace as you go. You're starting at a good pace, but then you want to maintain that pace for as long as you can. And then there's a round where you really got to ratchet up the intensity, or else you won't make it to the next round. So the goal would be to figure out what round that is, hammer that round at a higher intensity than you've been going at, and then see how long you can maintain that into the next round. It's like a little game that you can play. So it's like a game in the workout, but it's also fun because everybody can play. Because everybody can do 20 calories on the rower and 10 deadlifts, and it's challenging for everybody. And the reps are, it's not too skilled like with toes bar, but it just adds up over time. And
for
it's
those
fun.
larger rounds, you have to be good at toes bar too, because you're getting fatigued on the way there. Like at the end of 27 minutes, it's 130.
There's a lot of reps. The volume adds up.
If you make it through it.
We made a minimum of 5 rounds. So like if you didn't make it through 5 rounds, you had to finish 5 rounds for time. So there's a minimum requirement. Which
was brilliant.
Cool. It's a cool way to do it.
Right. And I went with somebody who is new to CrossFit. Right. Okay. So I started, and then they got on at the 90-second mark. Right. And on round 4, it caught him. The row caught him. And I've watched this person transition from fit class for about 6 months to being like, all right, I think I want a little more out of this than just this 30 minutes. Been doing the hour-long class for about 4 months or so, I'd say. And it caught him, but it was at no point am I standing behind him thinking less. That was the fun thing where I was like, dude, this is punishing you and it's punishing me. Dude, and I still have 4 rounds to go. I almost wish I was done now, type of thing, right? But where he's wishing, let me get, to the next round, I'm like, in this misery.
And I forgot that I did the workout on the 2.5 minutes. So I didn't go on the 3-minute window. I thought it was 3-minute window, and I did it on the 2.5.
Well, I'm glad you forgot and programmed.
I know,
because
I'm glad I did that for the class, because the class was.
People would have been done at 3 rounds tops.
So that little tweak or that little change makes the workout, very much different, more accessible for everybody, but also really hard at the top end because you're getting more volume.
Right.
Because if you're fitter, you can go further.
Yeah.
So, that was a fun workout this week.
Dude, it's interesting. The row deadlift combo, right? We just saw that.
Classic CrossFit.
CrossFit
couple.
Sucks.
Yeah,
dude,
what's
so
the row,
hard.
What's the row? Christine row deadlift box jump.
Man, it was like it was weird. The 5K did something to me, but but it was something special. Like I really don't know how to say anything. I'm just I'm kind of flabbergasted by it, just even talking about it, because of how it for like a couple hours last night. Like I went to the Grassfield girls lacrosse game because one of them works at the coffee shop, and we want to go and support them, and it's fun, by the way. Like if you haven't gone and watched a high school sporting event recently, it's awesome. Second, on the way out, I couldn't even talk to Julianne while we're driving. I was so mad about it. It was really strange. And I was like, why am I upset about this? I'm like, this workout just stole my lunch money. And you don't think it's going to. You read it and you're it's gonna be hard. I know I'm not gonna get, all the way or whatever. But round 1, it was like, damn.
Yeah, you could be ready for it.
You ready?
Your mindset, you gotta be ready to go.
Dude, I was
out in the fit class.
I was not ready for it.
That's Dude, not wussed out. The fit class yet? I've been doing the fit class in that for minutes.
Yeah,
man,
I liked it though.
It was a hard workout.
It was hard. We pushed it.
Yeah, fit classes are no joke.
Yeah.
Especially if the workouts are going to be quarterfinals. Just do the fit classes.
Seriously.
It'd be good.
That's why I wasn't ready.
Wall balls and
for the first 2 parts, I guess.
Not enough fit class, yeah.
So I also noticed this. So my scores for the quarterfinals workouts got better each workout. So first workout 2,000th, second workout 1,500th, third workout 1,000th, fourth workout 700 or something like that.
Interesting.
Do you think they were harder that way? Would you say that's accurate, or would you switch them around, type of thing?
Did you get better? I say that makes sense for you. When I think of
the
athlete, you are that logically it makes sense. I would have picked the last 2 as to be your best workouts for sure, easily.
Mm-hmm.
Now I probably wouldn't have picked. No, that's true too. I would have picked the second, the wall ball one being better than that first one, just because you're very good at wall balls.
Yeah. Did it go like that for you?
My third one was the best one.
You smashed that third workout. It was so fun to watch.
It was fun to do.
But
the burpee one was the worst one.
We got one. We were wrong on that. I sent you the video.
Okay. I'm gonna say I was wrong because someone did the 20 muscle ups unbroken and
had the top time in the world.
I was wrong.
So they didn't go slow. They had the top time in the world and on that workout.
That's
and
insane.
Did 20 unbroken.
That's insane. That's
I watched
that's
the
on
video
another
too. It was
planet.
Impressive. Yeah,
From Mars or something.
Looks good.
This is an alien?
Yeah.
What?
Alien,
send me the video.
sure.
How is this not being blasted? I've not seen this video.
I don't know.
Are you serious?
Brother.
What?
Yeah.
Alien.
Elon's.
That's a joke.
You ever seen that video of Mark Zuckerberg being like, when I was a human, I mean, I am a human. I'm like, what? Who mistakes that? Who does that? Nobody does that. And it's like, JV, you're a lunatic. You believe that? I'm like, dude, I don't know what to believe. But I do know that normal humans don't get up in front of people and say, when I was a human, I mean, I am a human.
You're a human.
What?
Such a good troll, though. That would be so good.
So the question on everybody's mind is Ben Smith going to semifinals.
Oh.
The votes are in, and they're
they're
astoundingly a strong 98, 99%.
I mean, I'll have to ask him.
The 99% say yes.
Yeah, what are you thinking? You want to tell you want to give your thoughts to the world? You gonna go?
The people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
what they want.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I mean, judging by if I make it through this quarterfinal.
Oh my,
so, I mean,
you're gonna be fine.
I could get some no reps.
Your
Georgie.
reps are so clean, almost all the time. Like I can't imagine.
I've gotten plenty of penalties in the past.
This is true.
Plenty.
Silly ones.
Mostly like false starts. I get
mostly false starts.
A 6 or 8 second false start penalty for breaking at the hip before they touch the barbell.
Yeah.
Something like that. Capturing the spirit.
Like your biggest penalty probably was that silly GHD standard,
that was my biggest
which I'm
penalty,
like, okay. I get
or
it.
my judge miscounted 333 double unders like by 150 reps and then apologized to me after the workout.
But still nothing was changed.
Nothing
was
changed,
awful.
yeah. Of course not. Or someone stole my bike and I stood there for like 2.5 minutes before I got another bike in Pendleton. That one too. Classics. It just happens. There's nothing you can do about it.
To you, apparently.
No, it just happens. There's not a lot you can do about it. That's what in-person competition does. But same with online competition.
Raise the bell.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably compete.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Fire up the jet, George.
Trying. I'm trying. Yeah. We're trying.
Let's go.
That'd be funny.
No, I'm really excited. If you say yes to this, I already got like the whole sort of weekend mapped out. I already talked to Julianne about it. Like I'm like getting so stoked.
I'm hyped covered.
Yeah.
He's
I'm really excited about it. We've never been in Knoxville too. Like
you haven't gone to any of them there.
We love to travel. I've only been to Nashville. Yeah, I've only been to Nashville and Cookeville, not Knoxville.
Yeah, so I'll say I think I have a really good mindset right now. Like I'm in the right headspace, and I just want to see if I can maintain that headspace through an in-person competition.
You can accidentally qualify for the games.
Right.
You never know.
I don't know.
The quarterfinals workouts all felt great.
Yeah.
They felt great. So hopefully I can keep that going. Having fun with it.
That's awesome. I think I wanted to bring something up in the vein of that spirit, but I didn't write it down recently. But I wanted to.
No, we covered a lot of the things I wrote down here. Can't think of anything else. We didn't have any other questions.
Oh, I remember what I wanted to say with my rant about what I was saying earlier, Old Testament, New Testament.
Yeah.
Your goal, this is why this space is perfect, or isn't perfect, but it's the best, is because it calls you to look at perfection and aim at it, and know that you'll never hit it. And it beckons you to come back and try and
on the daily. Like
Always.
You come in and the workout of the day is not achievable for you,
right?
Yet you're still supposed to try to aim towards that. At some point, you want to get there. Like there's hope for that in the future,
with the knowledge that you get to do it again. You try again.
Yeah. So if you look at it like that, like
it's the only. If it wasn't that, this would have never succeeded. It would never be a model that anybody would want to participate in. No way.
It's true.
Anyways, that's what I wanted to leave the world with today.
Yeah, maps right on, same pattern.
What's today's workout? I don't think I want to do it.
It's just it's
Strength
just-
work
it's
today.
Strength work.
It's a
You
strength
love,
day today.
Clean and jerks, and then some quality.
Yeah, so earlier in the week when I go more monostructural or like single component, like we
Mhm.
did on the 5K on Tuesday, then later on in the week you see that the scales balance with a strength day only, which we haven't done in a little while.
I like
It's
it.
just a strength day today,
Love it.
and then we'll come back with barber tomorrow.
I can't wait.
Woof.
Love barber.
Going
Been
into
doing
the
benchmarks
weekend.
this week. Yeah, you'll be all right. Barber's one of my favorites. Like if you're getting ready for Murph, barber's a really good one to do first.
Right.
That's the
It's on
first
the way.
workout you should do to prep for Murph because
Yep.
there's 3-minute rests in
Yeah.
there. You can back it off if the intensity or if the volume adds up for you. But then if you're fit, you could just crank the intensity or you can add a weight vest.
Not adding weight vest.
I'm saying you could.
I could.
Just
but
saying you could. But
Just gonna go. Just gonna go hard.
anything else for the greater good before we go?
No, I just hope they get on track.
We gave them some
See
good
this
ideas
CrossFit
today.
thing kind of circle back to what
We'll keep planting seeds.
we
It's
really,
on the
what we
way.
really liked when we really enjoyed it, when it
Right.
really inspired me. That I don't have that same fuzzy feeling right now.
We can, yeah. I can believe for you currently. It's on the way. Yeah, easy peasy. For real. Sometimes you need that. Somebody believe in you when nobody else believes in you. Somebody believe some great goods on the way when